Hey Facebook, I wanted to share a little bit with you guys what I'm gonna do when I'm breaking the water fast. So the foods that I am choosing now that I know that I have SIBO. So I have had SIBO, I found out I had SIBO in December. So it was after my water fast in November. So I went through that water fast and then I broke it. Hey girl, how are you? I broke the water fast the way that I have followed Dr. Daniel Pompa. That's who I follow when I do water fasting, and his recommendations, which are all great recommendations. But for somebody that has SIBO, the things that usually you use to re-inoculate your gut, feed the bad bacteria. So even though I've gone through the process of healing my gut, I don't want to enter or bring those things back into my gut. So this time I've chosen some different things, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. But I wanted to share with you a couple of the benefits. This has been my third 5-day water fast. Everyone is so unique. Everyone is so different. And I know people are probably like, that is not healthy. What in the world are you doing? Doing a water fast. And I would have said the same thing. So yes, we do. Trusty, we need to get together. I know, I will. I will message you. And so what was I saying? I got all, see, those comments sometimes distract me. But you know, before I did the water fast, I had, before I had cancer, I would have never thought in a million years of doing a water fast. That's right, thank you. Because I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's unhealthy. You should be eating every few hours. Like, you need the nutrients in your body. That's what's gonna heal your body. And then I got cancer. After eating and being, you know, pretty plant-based for the good majority of my adult life, you know, I wasn't 100% plant-based. I'm still really not. I mean, I have, you know, meats from time to time, but what I do know is I always had inflammation, and it started when I had mono at 17, and then I was diagnosed with IBS, and I had chronic fatigue like in my 20s, and nobody really knew or understood what the problem was with me. But 10 years after that, I get my appendix out. 10 years later, I have cancer. So here I am, I'm 44 years old now, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to get cancer again, right? We try to go, well, what can I do differently? Well, I did lots of good things before that. So I took probiotics, and I did juicing, and I did the Vitamix, and I made a smoothie every day, and I ate lots of asparagus and lemons. I remember everybody telling me I need to eat lemons all the time, and I did all that stuff. So this time it was like, I need to investigate this further. So last year I went through a 90-day process where I literally, the only fruit I ate for a time was berries and green apples, and I got rid of all starchy vegetables like potatoes and things like that. So I got rid of all that stuff from my diet for 90 days, and that helped me. I dropped 25 pounds. I cleaned up my blood work, and all of that was post-cancer, post-menopausal, just reaction to my body. So then I did a 90-day detox with Dr. Daniel Pompa, and I used his True Cellular Detox program. He's got a free ebook. It's called The Cellular Healing Diet. So if you guys want to check it out, it's really, really good, really beneficial. It's all about healing your body naturally through food, which is really what I'm about, is using food to heal your body. So after I did the water fast, and then I did another water fast in November, and then I decided to do one more here. And I'm thinking probably during Lent starts next week, I'm gonna do it every Wednesday, just a 24-hour fast. Because the more I research and the more I read, the more benefits there are to water fasting. So, you know, you don't have to jump into it like I did, but I'll tell you what, if you have chronic pain, or you are somebody that has fibromyalgia or things like that, you know, it's definitely something to consider, because what it does is it basically helps fix your cell. And all the other detox types of things don't do the same thing that our natural body could actually do on its own. I mean, our bodies are amazing. They're created by God, and they're completely amazing with the ability of the things that they're able to do. So this time has been really interesting. First, my glucometer broke, so I was trying to test my glucose and my ketones. And I wasn't thinking, I took the blood side of it, I stuck it in there, it broke. So anyway, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a spiritual fast. Like, we're just going all spiritual here. And that was really good. So I kind of set my intentions and wrote down some prayer requests, things I wanted to really pray about and things that I wanted clarity on. So I wrote that down and I did that. And the other thing that was really interesting too is every single time that I've done a water fast, I feel as if something different in my body bothers me. So the first time it was like my sacrum area. And if you don't know, I had colorectal cancer, and so I ended up having to have a permanent colostomy. So my intestine, if you don't know what that is, my intestine is outside of my body in my stomach. I have to wear a bag, and I had surgery. And so my sacrum area has lots of scar tissue and things like that. So I felt a lot of achiness the first time. The second time around, I had achiness between my shoulder blades. Well, I don't know what that was about, but I was like, all right. And when you watch Dr. Pompa's videos, he talks about that this is some of the signs that will happen. A lot of times it says your body is healing, and it's basically cleaning out all of that old debris, all the old cells, the cells that are inflamed, the cells that have free radicals, just the old junk that's in there. As you're water fasting, your body is able to heal because it doesn't have to use the energy to process the food. So this time, my glands, I had like 2 days, and it would only be for like an hour at a time, maybe 2 hours, like all throughout the day. All of a sudden, it was like my glands would hurt, and it would hurt to swallow. And I was like, well, this is really odd, but it brought me back to the original, I think, condition I had that started all my autoimmune issues, which was I had mono when I was 17. And so from that point on, I was a super healthy kid. I think I would take off from school in high school so I would still look cool because I didn't want to have perfect attendance. So I was healthy all the time. And I got mono, and literally it was like a 7 to 10 year period where I had strep throat all the time. I didn't feel good. I would have laryngitis a lot. So I had multiple conditions. And then I went to the ER 3 times, and finally they diagnosed me with IBS, which is kind of like, we don't know what's wrong with you. We're just going to tell you you have IBS. So, and then we kind of went from there. And so here my throat was just like, do I have a sore throat? Am I getting sick? I didn't feel sick. And I think that it was so interesting to me because it brought me back to that place where everything started. So I'm really hoping that that's what's healed, because normally when I get sick, that's the first place I can tell something's wrong. And I always get laryngitis every single time. So all of that to say, it was a really good fast. It gets easier every time, every single time it gets easier. And probably the hardest part is last week I ate things that a lot of times I eat really clean. So there was a couple days I ate some stuff that I shouldn't, and I can feel it. So if you have any autoimmune illnesses, I'm gonna tell you right now, and just please hear me and just think about it and kind of think through it. When you have any type of autoimmune issue, your body can't tolerate the things that other people can tolerate. So when you're eating stuff that you shouldn't and has processed food, or if you drink alcohol sometimes, or you drink too much coffee or whatever it is, it will affect especially a person with an autoimmune condition. Lisa, I fasted for 5 days every time. It was a 5-day fast. And I think the thing that gets missed a lot of times when people end up having conditions that are rare and ambiguous, and you don't really know what's wrong, and you go to different doctors, and then you finally get a diagnosis, the hardest thing is to change your diet. I absolutely understand that. I'm a nutrition coach, and I'm basically nutrition meets life coaching, honestly, because I used to give people meal plans and talk about macros and counting calories and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? That's not what changes people. What changes people is re-educating the mind and retraining your brain and beginning a journey of healing your body through whole foods. So, and that takes support and accountability. It really, really does. I totally understand the struggle. And somebody is afflicted with something, the last thing they feel like they want to do is give up their creature comfort of food. So I understand that. But hear me when I say I coined the term the autoimmune flu. I don't even know if it's a thing, but that is what I would feel. And I had no idea it was connected to food. And my husband, same. His was a lot of times connected to food. He'll feel like he has the flu, but it's not the true flu symptoms. And it's like, after Christmas when you're eating a bunch of junk or whatever it is, So we have to have more sleep, and we have to drink more water, and we have to watch our caffeine intake because of the adrenal glands, and we have to be careful with the food that we put in our body. The thought is not subtracting, it's about adding nutritious things that are going to bring life to the body. So, and then the other thing I wanted to share is it was just an amazing time for me spiritually, like to reconnect with God and to be in prayer. I've been writing. My goal this year has been to write my hard story. So I've been writing about 3 times a week for about 30 minutes. Sometimes that's as much as you can take when you're writing a hard story. So instead of thinking I'm going to write a book, I'm just going to sit and write for 30 minutes and let's see what comes out of that. So, but one thing in 2016, I went to a women's conference at Covenant Church, and the word mosaic had come to me, and a scripture followed later on. Mosaic, things that are broken into pieces and then form one whole. And I thought, wow, I feel like my life is broken into pieces, and this is God's encouragement that someday I will feel whole again. And there was a verse, and I wanted to share it with you. It was 1 Samuel 12:16. I have it on a sticky note. Like literally, they're all over my house. I need my friend Kim to do something with this for art. Kim Mayer, if you're watching, this is what I need. Hi, Lisa. I know I love you too. Hi, Michael. But here's what it says. It says, stand still. Stand still. I'm not good at standing still. Maybe you are. I don't know. And see the great thing the Lord is about to do before your eyes. I didn't want to screw it up because sometimes I have a tendency to forget the words. So standing still, right? Being patient is not easy for any of us. And when we're in a place of the unknown, or we're in a place where there is not comfort and there's no answers and we're confused, a lot of times we can't stand it, and we will do whatever we can to medicate that, to get us out of that, to not feel anything other than what pleasure can I seek when I am hurting so bad. So Lisa, the scripture is 1 Samuel 12:16. And so that was the first part for me to understand and recognize that I had to stand still. I had to be okay, and in the place of discomfort I was in the place of cancer, in the place of losing a position at work, in a position of financial issues, in a position of when my husband got sick, and then having a rare disease and not knowing what that meant, and then him going and getting some healed, but then not knowing what's going to happen because then there's this other issue he has. And it's just been a walk of broken pieces, all in the unknown. And so that verse to me has been an encouragement. And so as I've gone through these water fasts, it has been such a great experience of transformation, of seeing where I was a year ago, where I was 3 years ago. I'm heading on my last year of getting scans for cancer. And I'm feeling great. Found out I have SIBO, right? Which is why I'm doing this video. And it's really transformed. I have never felt physically this good in my life. Even all the years that I ate good and I worked out hard and all that stuff, I always had inflammation. And I feel great. I feel fantastic. So I just want to encourage you guys with that. And if you're ever interested in doing a water fast, I have all of his videos and all that, but he does have an ebook, so it's It's free. It's a free download. It is the Cellular Healing Diet. So let me show you when a person has SIBO. I'm going to turn this camera around. There we go. What they could be eating. So here's what I did. So I made a green juice. There's my juicer. So I made a green juice. So I'm gonna do a green juice, just because it's gonna give me a lot of nutrients in the cell. You know, when you juice, even though you're not getting the fiber, you are uptaking all of that nutrition directly into the cell. And so especially for somebody who has autoimmune issues or who has had cancer, that is so critical to keep those cells as healthy as possible. So I'm going to do a green juice. The green juice just has celery, it has green apple, it has ginger, and what else did I put? And some spinach, I think. Oh, and lemon. So that's what's in the green juice. The other thing I'm going to do, so there's like, here's for a smoothie. I just have some strawberries and blueberries. I'm going to do spinach, and I'm going to put probably half of the avocado in. I might make the whole thing, and then that way I'll have two of them. And the reason that I'm doing it this way, then Dr. Pompa, what he usually recommends is that you have sauerkraut and what other things, like kimchi. You can do... what are some of the other things that he says? Like fermented vegetables are really good. And he does recommend things like cottage cheese and some of the, like maybe plain yogurts and things like that to re-inoculate your gut. But the problem when somebody has SIBO is sauerkraut. You know, my mom and I remember made cabbage soup the first time. All of that stuff will feed on the bacteria in the gut. And so I don't want to feed it. Even if it's not there anymore, I don't even want to take a chance. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So his other recommendations is if you can't do that, you can do like a smoothie. So I'm going to do like this little berry spinach smoothie. And then I have olives. So olives don't get talked about enough. I love olives. They're really good. And I actually started eating them a lot more last year when I decided to do like 90 days where I didn't eat as much starchy food and like the sweet potatoes, and I got rid of all the fruit for 90 days except for berries and green apples. And I only did that for a time period. I can eat everything now, but I think to reset my blood work, that's what I had to do. So I wanted to share with you green olives. I had a couple things. I was researching them and kind of looking up what foods would be good to add back probiotics into my gut after a water fast. So it's interesting. So olives are usually green, and then as they ripen, they change to purple and black. So I thought that was, you know, kind of cool to learn about and stuff like that. And the black, or typically most of them have something different that they give. They're all anti-inflammatory though. And iron, copper are some of the minerals. Selenium and zinc are some of the minerals that you receive from eating olives. And vitamin E, if you like the black ones, they have a lot of vitamin E, which is obviously, we know, a good antioxidant. So, you know, that is something if you're looking to eat something that is anti-inflammatory. I mean, there's lots of stuff out there. But if you don't have olives added to your diet, it's a great healthy fat. And, you know, most of us will cook with olive oil and coconut oils and things like that. But I think what the research is starting to show is, you know, those are still processed to a degree. So even though, yes, I would recommend, you know, an olive oil or coconut oil over, say, safflower oil or canola, I still would recommend eating whole food. So an avocado is really good high fat. Olives are really good high fat. Nuts, seeds are really good high fat. So I would recommend that over olives or over oils. And for cooking, a lot of times what you can do is just use broth. So you can use like vegetable broth to cook in. It makes your meal healthier, and it's not as high in calories. So those of you that are, you know, looking at your calorie amount and stuff like that, that would be something important. So here's what I found. So they're loaded with loaded with antioxidants to kill the free radicals and repair the DNA, which is huge, especially if you've had cancer. And then it brings health to like the immune system and the nervous system. So again, people with autoimmunity, a lot of times their immune system is compromised. and the nervous system plays into that quite a bit as well. So it was really interesting. I was also reading on some of the health benefits, and olives have oleic acid in them, which can help lower blood pressure, and so it helps with cardiovascular disease. So those of you who have heart issues or cardiovascular issues, olives are a great addition, and it has, of course, the omega-3s. So lots of really good power-packed stuff here. Like I said, the lemons in the juice. I have the avocados, this kind of power greens that has spinach and stuff. I have the berries. And then I bought some pickles, and the only ingredients, you always, if you can't read it, don't eat it, is what I say. The ingredients on here, they got cucumbers, vinegar, water, salt, garlic, and dill. I was like, okay, that's really, we'll take that. I'm going to take that. So I got some pickles. That can also be a good thing to eat. To re-inoculate the gut as well. And then I did buy a kombucha. Now I'm only going to probably drink half of this because this is a fermented beverage, and when you have SIBO, you just have to be careful. But I have noticed that I'm okay if I drink half because I love kombucha. But if I drink too much, I can tell in my gut. I look like I'm, 4 months pregnant. So I wanted to show you, sugar content here is 6 grams. And if you didn't know this, the reason that there's sugar, you want to make sure there's no added sugars in kombucha. I usually stick with original or gingerade because the sugar that is, when kombucha is processed down, there is a natural sugar that's produced, kind of like when you put sweet potatoes in an oven and you can see all the caramelized things, it's all caramelized. Well, when you drink kombucha, when kombucha is processed, same thing. So that's the reason that there's sugar on it. But if it has extra juices in there or extra sweeteners in there, you want to avoid those. So some of the ones that taste like Kool-Aid, and you're like, I'll try this one because this one's really yummy and tastes like sangria, probably has something extra in it. So for gut health, or if you're doing kombucha, something original, or of course, if you make your own. So if you have time to do that or take the time to do that. So anyway, I wanted to share this video so you guys could see how I'm breaking the water fast, what foods I'm breaking it with, and just to share my experience on water fasting and the benefits. I will continue to do this. In fact, one of my clients had shared a story with me, and I'll end with this.